Hi, and welcome to another live broadcast from GCS Connect. So today we're going to be having a conversation with an individual that has been exploring social entrepreneurship and how we can empower those from unrepresented communities. So without further ado, let's roll the titles and bring in our guest for today. Leyla, welcome.
Thank you. Hi, everyone.
Hi, how you doing? All right?
Yes, I'm good. Excuse the background noise. That's my loud laptop.
No worries at all. I'm sure we'll get through this okay. So, Leyla, I gave a very brief intro, obviously, about social entrepreneurship and how we can empower those from unrepresented communities. Would you like to give yourself an intro and then we can dive into our conversation?
Yes. So my name is Leyla. I grew up in Tanzania and I moved to Dublin, Ireland as a teenager, and I've been here since late 90s, a long time. Although I didn't get the accent, but I'm a Dubliner girl now. Uh, yeah, so I was introduced in social innovation. A few years ago, I attended a networking event on social innovators. I didn't know anything about it. And when the panel were speaking about their social enterprise, social innovation project, I had my light bulb moment. And I was like, that's it. That is exactly what I have been, wanting to do, but I didn't have the word for it. The way of mixing business model, normal business model with a purpose, equally important, because normal business is shareholders, it's all about shareholders' wealth. But there is a business model that you can have both, impactful mission and having a business model that, profit is important also.
Of course, absolutely. So, for those that don't actually or are not familiar with the terminology of social entrepreneurship, could you give us a bit of a background on what that actually means and certainly what it means to you and what you're doing with it?
Yeah, so social entrepreneurship in different countries define it different. So for me, how I define entrepreneurship is like, a business have a baby with a charity and they produce social enterprise. Just a perfect balance of profit with purpose. The charity model, their business model is depending on donation and grants, which sometimes is not sustainable. They can have very impactful projects, but if the grants or donation, get reduced, they have to shut that project down, which I think it wasn't fair, especially because I worked with charity for a while, so that's what their weakness, I thought. And to have the normal business model element to have a sustainable financial source, it's very important to be able to keep those impactful projects going. So that's what social entrepreneurship, just having impactful mission, but a proper sustainable financial model to go
Okay.
with it.
And so, what does your working day look like then? What do you typically do to promote this social entrepreneurship?
Yes, so to cut the story short, from being introduced to social innovation a few years ago, I ended up pursuing my social innovation project after I attended a startup weekend, Techstars Startup Weekend Dublin event, where I got a weekend shock of how to turn from a business idea that in your head to put it down in business model Canva to pitch, within the space of 54 hours of that weekend. When I finished the setup weekend, I wanted to pursue that, idea that I had. And I just discovered the journey was very lonely. I was on my own. I didn't have a team. It's not easy to be an entrepreneur. Very lonely journey. and I wanted a like-minded community. Like I said, my project, my idea were in social innovation, and although it was is in fintech, and I was networking in tech ecosystem in Dublin where I couldn't connect with people because I'm also impactful driven. So I wanted to have my own tribe, and I ended up accidentally started this community of social entrepreneurs. So my day at the moment revolving around organizing networking events for social entrepreneurs, and also working on my fintech project on the side. It's still very early days, and also organizing startup weeks and startup weekend events, and my way of giving back. So I'm juggling few balls at the
I was
moment.
going to say, it sounds like you're incredibly busy. One of our audience, Usama, excuse me, Usama, if I've not pronounced your name correctly, is actually asking how much money is required for creating your own business. And just from my own level of thought process on that, and Leyla, I'll come in with you in 2 seconds, is that it varies depending on what it is that you're wanting to do and exactly what the scale of the business looks like. But Leyla, do you want to just give us some sort of examples of the process that you went through starting up your own company?
Yeah, so with my fintech, it's still very early days. I haven't raised. With my community, we just started, generating income this year because it was just a hobby. It was just something really personal that I needed. I didn't want to be alone. I wanted a tribe. So it was just a tribe. And then I see the impact it was making. I'm like, okay, now I need to, to make this sustainable and have that business model. So we finally started generating income this year. And
Fantastic.
yeah, and our business model is more of corporate partnerships. So we get revenue from that, but our users are still using our service for free at the moment. And
Okay.
and yeah, and also to answer how the question of raising money, how much money you need, it depends of why you want to raise money and what the money is for. So once you
Good
answer
point.
those two questions, then you know how much money you need, what milestone you need to hit for that money you want. So it's all about you and what's your goals.
Absolutely. And, one of the things that I did when I created a startup, just for Usma's thought process, is I worked out roughly what the peak of my debt was going to be if I hadn't made any money. And then that's what my operational cost needed to look like. And that gave me the milestone of what I needed to achieve. So hopefully that answered your question, Usama. So, Leda, could you just give us some thoughts around how we can empower individuals from unrepresented communities to build successful businesses and scale?
Yes, that is all about, human being as naturally, we are very tribal. So we tend to be drawn to people who look like us, who act like us, who are in the same values and goals, which ended up closing other people who are not our tribe.
Agreed.
Yeah, so I think we need to be more open-minded, and to be inviting to others who are not like us, or who don't look like us. So I think to have that in, to do it consciously, and yeah, that will help, because in business it's all about network. It's who you know. Your network is really your net worth. It will take you so far. So if you're from the diverse or minority background, just try to go to places that your people are not there, just to increase your network, because you never know who you're gonna meet and how they will be able to help you. Yeah, so be less tribal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So how do you put that into practice in your environment then? Because obviously you are trying to, and you, by the sound of it, you're doing an incredible job. So I applaud you for that. And I love people that put themselves out of their comfort zone. So congratulations to you on that. But in the sense of what you're doing is also an element of representing those unrepresented communities. So how do you also make that more inclusive to make sure that everybody is also getting involved in that as well? So it doesn't just become another small network pod talking amongst themselves.
Yes. So yeah, that's a good question. Like I say, I needed a tribe, so that's why I ended up building this community. I'm not sure. Did I broke off for a minute?
No, no,
Did you
you're
hear
fine.
me?
You
Because
had
I
a
kind
little
of got
blip.
frozen my end.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. So okay, yes, yes. So my being alone, I wanted a tribe, but in my way of building this tribe, I also make it open and inclusive. So our community is open for everybody. Our events they're open for everyone to attend, and also that was a very important thing because we also need to raise awareness of social enterprise and social entrepreneurship because a lot of people still don't know. They still get questioned, about what is social enterprise mean? What does it mean? What does it, well, we are surrounded by social enterprise everywhere. Yeah, so yeah, it's just to be, and even with my work with Startup Weekend, Techstars Startup Weekend, I did two so far. The one I did, the first one was general for everybody, and we had very few number of women register for the events, and only one team had women on their team, which was
Wow.
unacceptable. So the second one I did the specific for women, and in that weekend we had 28 women pitched their idea that weekend, and 6 teams were formed and for the weekend and did pitching. So yeah, because sometimes at the minority community kind of take themselves outside the game because of all the discrimination they face. So they just that confidence it chips after a while, so they don't even want to participate when it's just for everybody. So sometimes it's just go out there consciously and reach out to them, and that way you can be more inclusive.
Yeah, and I think that
Yeah.
you've
I hope I answered your
elegantly put it
question.
as well. Yeah, no, no, you did, and I think that you elegantly put it as well. That that sometimes when we're trying to promote a unrepresented group of whether it's gender, race, etc., we can sometimes be unbiased. Sorry, we can be biased and unconsciously exclude other people. So I love the fact that you are in getting other people in on those communities as well. So even though it's about representing those unrepresented individuals, that you are bringing in the wider community as well. So that's great news. What sort of obstacles have you faced? Leyla, I'm not sure whether you heard me there or not. I think we've got a bad connection.
For me, starting out, because I'm migrant and also I'm a woman, I didn't have a big neck. People didn't know me, and people do business with people then. So I had, oh yes, I had. I think there's a delay. Can you
There's
hear
a
me?
slight delay there. Yes, you're frozen on line, but there is a delay, but I'm sure we'll get through it, so don't worry.
Yeah, so I'll go ahead. I hope you can hear me. Yeah, so one of the obstacle I didn't have a net. Yeah, so the obstacle for me was network. I didn't have a network, so I had to go out there and build it. Because it's important to get your name out there and build a brand, yeah, so people can know you and can trust you. So that was the big obstacle. And then building a community actually it ended up being naturally. I was able to connect with people from different walks of life, and people also to get to know me that way and what I do. So it really helps. So put yourself out there and just build that network because that's a gap.
Are you still with us, Leyla?
I hope you heard me.
Oh,
Did you
yeah,
hear me?
Yes, you came in and out a couple of times, but we got the gist of it. So thank you for that. So next question for you is, what are the three most important pieces of advice you've learned in launching your own business?
Oh, this one I like. Nike slogan, just do it. That's my favorite
Love
because
that.
yeah, because fear is the worst. A lot of people die with no realizing their dream because of fear. So somebody told me, if you want to go to a place where there's a lot of dreams, go to the graveyard. um, yeah, so just overcome your fear. Just do it. Don't overthink. Don't second guess yourself. Just start. Then start whatever you are. You don't think about, oh, I need to have this, I need to have this, I need to have this. That it will just paralyze you. Just start where you are and grow. Because if you look, even the story of Amazon, where they start their first website, be like, wow. um, yeah, so just start where you are and just do it. And the next one is resilient. Be resilient. And that means you have to take time also to self care. So look after yourself, like your mental wellness as entrepreneur is very important, because if you're not 100%, you're not going to give 100%. So look after yourself, and that will help you to be resilient, to keep going, because this journey is not easy. So take care of yourself. And the last one, your network is your net worth. Your network will really help you grow to where you want to be. So make sure you grow your network. If there's a gap in your network, go out there and build those relationships that will get you further. Sometimes to be successful in business, you really don't even need money. You just need proper people that can help you take there to those places. So yeah, network. Yeah,
That's
thanks.
brilliant, and I totally agree with your last comment there. That it's not always down to money. It's really down. We are our biggest hurdle, but we're also our biggest success story. So it's all about us as inner people, on our drive and our ambition on what we want to achieve. So a lot of the largest entrepreneurs and very richest people in the world started with nothing. So it doesn't always come down to money. It comes down to that determination.
Yes, yes, very true.
Is there anything in your journey that you think now, looking back, that you spent too much time doing and it didn't really come to fruition on something that you could give as a bit of advice as well?
Yeah, I was scared a lot. I
Were
wish,
you?
yeah, yeah, I wish I wasn't. I wish I believe in myself more. But also, at the same time, I don't regret it, because that was part of the journey. It made me who
Mm.
I am today. Maybe I needed to do those things to build myself. Um, yeah, and it took me a while. It took me a few years to really know who I was, who I am, and those journeys. It was very zigzag. It wasn't a straight line. Yeah, but I took, there was transferable skills in everything I did. My uh, educational background is in accounting and finance. Straight after college, I went to work as auditor, trainee auditor. I didn't last long in that journey, but I still use that knowledge till today. I ended up,
Everything's a learning curve, and
yeah,
we have to utilize every type of environment that we've ever been in to use that, whether it's a good thing to use or whether it's something to avoid in the future. So everything, you're absolutely right. It's all a learning curve. Um, and from your perspective as well, one of the things that I'd like just to get clarification on from you is the purpose of Techstars community and your Y network. How can people get involved with you and your community? But what is the purpose of it all?
yeah, so like I say, Techstar, I got in, Techstar is a global community. It's very big. It started out in Colorado. A few amazing guys started it over there, and now it's everywhere. And I got introduced because it was really the beginning of my journey, my entrepreneurship journey. And what I gained from that community was so important. that's why I got involved in the community. Now I'm part of community builder. I wanted to give it back to other people who are in the same situation I was a few years ago. They have this business idea, but they're not sure of themselves where to start. So that's what it gave these events, startup weekend events. And your why, like I say, it's a lonely journey being an entrepreneur. So it just says inclusive space for social entrepreneurs to connect with others all over the world and share values and being inspired, and find collaboration with others. And we do networking events, and we're still very new also. So there's few programs will come under it, but so far at the moment it's mainly networking events and organizing few startup weekend events. So we are online, we are on social media, YourYNetwork and Techstars. If you want to learn about more about Techstars, if you go techstars.com, they have a lot of resource there and information, and it's a great community to be a part. Yeah.
Brilliant. Brilliant. Leyla, thank you so much for sharing your journey and some of the tips and hints that you've gone through during your career as well. I've loved the advice, certainly around sort of like the mental health element as well, of looking after yourself if you're going to do this. I think that's absolutely something that people forget to plan in as part of a business plan. But thank you so much. And, if anybody wants to have a chat with Leyla or find out more, then you can find Leyla on LinkedIn and also with regards to some of the links that she shared with us today. So Leyla, thank you.
Thank you so much. I hope I
You're
give
very
you
welcome.
few nuggets to go with.
Indeed. Pleasure talking with you. Take care.
Thank you. Bye, everyone.
Cheers. Bye-bye.